Now, many of you already know that the cost of living or inflation in South Africa is currently sitting at 5.4%. And this coming week, Wednesday, we are to get, of course, the inflation figures or the inflation numbers for the month of July. Now, analysts are seen on the screen are expecting inflation to come at 5.2%, which, of course, if we are to get it to be much better than that, it will be, of course, bullish news probably to the market. Whereas if we get it coming out worse than what analysts expect, it might be bearish. But the good thing is that inflation in South Africa, ladies and gents, it is now within the SA Reserve Bank's target of between 3 and 6%, which is something that is good, right? Now, these inflation news are the ones that trigger the SA Reserve Bank to either increase or decrease, of course, interest rates, which, of course, recently we've been seeing, of course, the very same SA Reserve Bank not being aggressive as they were back in 2022. As you know that they were aggressively, or in 2022, they were aggressively increasing interest rates, trying to cap this inflation. Now, this is not good for the markets, or we saw this, of course, hurting the markets so bad, which is why we saw, of course, some of our favorite companies both locally and internationally not doing so well, because if the very same situations that we've been facing of high inflation is the very same situations that they've been facing in the US of high inflation. Inflation in the US is currently sitting at around 3.1%, but there was a point in time back in 2022 where we saw inflation in the US going over 9%, which was not good at all. And of course, the Federal Reserve that side also had to aggressively increase interest rates, trying to cap the inflation that side. Now, ladies and gents, in the US, the markets have sort of like recovered as inflation, of course, cooled down, because you'll know that their target that side is to get to inflation to be at 2%. And looking at the fact that they have fought inflation from over 9% and now currently sitting at 3.1%, it is a good work in progress. Though some analysts, or many of the analysts, are still expecting inflation that side to stay in this 3% or between 3 and 4% for some time. So these high inflation and increase in interest rates have been making the markets not to, of course, do that well. Though in the US, we saw the markets recovering, because most of the stocks, especially growth stocks, year to date, they have done pretty good. I mean, the markets, the S&P 500 itself, I think it has went up by over 14% year to date, which is something that shows that this year, the market-wise, has not been that bad. But in recent weeks, ladies and gents, we've been seeing, of course, the S&P 500 sort of like lagging behind or dropping, because in the last month, the S&P 500 dropped by over 3.6%, whereas in the last week, the S&P 500 dropped by almost 2%, which is something that, of course, is making most of the stock, or it just means that most of the stocks in the US, they are not doing well in recent days. Here locally in South Africa, it's the same thing. We've been seeing, of course, the markets or stock market not doing that well, which is something that, of course, it is resulting in most of the companies, of course, also here locally not to do that well. I mean, in this side, or in South Africa, I think in terms of performance, growth-wise, it is sort of like the situation is worse than what we are seeing in America or in the US. We've seen a couple of stocks recovering year to date, which is something that is always good. Now, the good thing, or something that is really making me to make this video today, ladies and gents, is that just yesterday I read wonderful news of saying that global wealth, as measured by personal holdings of assets like properties or real estate and stocks or shares, is expected to, of course, rise by 38% by 2027, which is something that when I read this article, ladies and gents, it made me to be really excited, because global wealth from those that own real estate and, of course, shares of stocks is expected to rise by 38%, ladies and gents, by 2027, which means that at the end of the tunnel, ladies and gents, there will be winners, and there will be those that really do well in terms of these assets, or assets like properties and stocks or shares. Now, when you look at the emerging economies, including countries that are in BRICS, and BRICS, you'll know that it's Brazil, India, Russia, South Africa, and China, those countries are expected to see a growth of, ladies and gents, 30% by 2027, which is something that is incredible. Because, ladies and gents, the wealth, even in South Africa, for the people that own properties and stocks, is expected to grow by around 30%, which means that those people that are investing into stocks, those people that are owning real estate or properties, they are expected to, of course, grow their wealth, ladies and gents, by roughly around 38% on average. That is, of course, by 2027. So they're expected to grow wealth by 38%, which, when I read this is bullish, because regardless of what we see in the markets today, regardless of maybe probably the slowdown in the property market, and of course the companies in the stock market not performing that well, there is hope and there is growth, which is still seen of 30% in South Africa, or in our very own country like South Africa, which is something that is really, really good. And especially to those that are especially in the stock market and not investing locally only, but also investing abroad, they can see their wealth growing by 38%, that is by 2027. So when I read this was good news to me, to say that there is growth expected to be seen to those that are into real estate in the stock market. Because, ladies and gents, the 38% that is expected to be seen globally, or that is expected to, of course, come by 2027, it is something that it really encouraged me to say that, in fact, I need to do more, I need to invest more, because I want to be part of the number that is counted to the people that really did well in the stock market. I really want to be counted into the number of the very same people that saw their, of course, their wealth growing by over 30% by 2027. Because, ladies and gents, you will know that personally, I not only invest into local stocks, but I'm in fact heavily invested into international stocks, which is why I believe that I will be part of the number that has accumulated some probably good monies by 2027. I know, I'm hopeful, I remain bullish, which is why when most of the retail investors throughout this time, when we see most of the stocks or most of our stocks that we invest being hammered, dropping sharply, and panic selling, I continue loading the boat together with some other strategic investors who are taking the very same opportunity in the markets right now and load the boat, or instead of panicking, they increase or buy new stocks that are expected to do very well. So I'm hopeful, and I know that I'll be part of those that accumulate some good monies or good money when it comes to, of course, stocks, because I'm not into property probably that much, but I know that when you talk of stocks, or when you talk of the stock market, this is my field where, or this is the field where I'm very aggressive. And by 2027, when they count those people that have really seen their portfolio do well, I know I'll be part of those, because I'm heavily invested into the stock market. Those that have been on this channel for some time, you can attest to that. You know that I've been doing this thing for quite some time, and I'm still very, of course, bullish. Though some of the companies that I invest in are on a red or have not done that well, but recovery, it is expected to be seen in the near future, meaning that those companies that I invest in, even those ones that are on a red, will recover, and I'll see, of course, both my two portfolios doing really well in the near future. Otherwise, with all that, guys, I just thought I'd just give you this quick update. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, comment and subscribe, and don't forget that this video was just an entertainment video and not a professional financial advice video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, comment and subscribe, because on this channel, stock market, it's one of the topics, or it is the main topics that we discuss a lot. Any kind of news that have an impact or that link with the stock market, I will discuss it, or I cover it on this channel, which is why when I read this article of course, South Africa seeing or expected to see a wealth growth of around 30% by 2027 coming from stocks and properties, made me to be really excited in a way that I wanted to share with you guys. So if you are in the stock market, or stock market is your niche, hit that subscribe button, because on this channel I discuss our stock market. It is the topic or main topic that I discuss on this channel. Otherwise, I make tons and tons of stock market investing videos, and if you think that this video, like I said, it was amazing, don't forget to hit the like button, comment and subscribe. When you subscribe, don't forget to hit or click that notification bell so that at least you get notified by YouTube every time I drop a new content. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey, and God bless you all.